Legally, I've been using medical marijuana since July of this year. From 2001 to now, I've been treating myself without a license. And of course, that was irrelevant to me, because I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't even have my cannabis. If I did not have my cannabis in me, I wouldn't be sitting here. I've been suffering from the onset of MS since 2001. I'm partially disabled on my right side. My driving symptoms are severe weakness, sensory loss, gait difficulties, and severe pain. I have what's called classic multiple sclerosis, which means I've got lesions on my spinal cord and brain. My disease progressively gets worse. There is no cure. Despite the medical industry's best efforts, they have come up with no cure, they've just come up with no treatments, no adequate treatments for multiple sclerosis. What makes MS unique is there are only about 475,000 in the US with MS. There are no two people on the planet with MS who share the same course. Now there's 3 unknowns about MS. They don't know how you get it, where it comes from, and there's no cure. Now this is where my willingness to deviate from the medical industry is very straightforward. If you don't know anything about it, how can I trust what you're telling me is going to help? There's a political side too. There's insurance involved. There's money involved. Okay, I'm very difficult with my neurologist. And I don't mean to get off topic, I refuse medications. I refuse tests. You've already made it clear to me you don't know anything about the disease, so what are we doing? You've already told me no two people share the same course. You've told me I'm African American. The disease progression is a lot worse. I'm on my own. It's critical that medical marijuana stays in place, but with some sort of regulation. The benefits that I get from it are fascinating. I've refused all medical treatment, folks. I've had the disease for 8.5 years. I still mountain bike. I still work out. I still run my dog. I get to live a normal life. My speech is still fluent. And I've got lesions sitting in my brain that should have damaged my speech. And the one thing I laugh at the most, whatever it is you're doing, Ray, keep doing it. If I could get those 2 neurologists to stand right here and say that would lend a lot of credibility, because they have no idea what I'm doing. They know that every time they see me, I'm doing good. So at the end of the day, this is why I'm doing good. I relapsed 3 times in the last 7 years. I did not even know it. I put 1,400 miles on my mountain bike last summer in the middle of relapsing. I had no clue, because in order for me to function, I would get off work. I was using it recreationally. It motivated me to work out. It motivated me to jump on my mountain bike. I kept relapsing. My MS was getting worse. And when I relapsed bad enough to where I couldn't walk, they found it amazing that I have not been getting treated. I do have asthma. I was always a skeptic of asthma and marijuana. I'm no longer a skeptic. I haven't used my inhaler in 4 weeks. And that's nice, because anytime I do any strenuous activities, I don't need it. Medical marijuana takes care of itself. And there are no side effects. That's the best part. As part of my treatment, there are a number of ways I can consume my medical marijuana, and I, from time to time, like to use edibles. Well, they contain dairy products, they go bad, and some dispensaries, although their intent is good, there's nobody really overseeing that, and there are cases of mold. That's my health. It's as simple as me having an allergic reaction. I think there should be some sort of oversight regarding the product that's out there. None of those guys are experts. They don't know anything about my particular disease. I know what particular strain I need. You have so many different names, you have a lot of misinformation. I think it needs to be a little more structured. The pharmaceutical industry is waiting for this to just fall apart, because then they don't have to compete with us. They don't have to contest with us. I have a problem with the demographics. 88% that are registered, and this is unbelievable, are there under quote unquote pain. You have 2% glaucoma, 2% like MS, I think 2.5% HIV, hepatitis. And when I'm sitting next to a 24, 25-year-old in a dispensary waiting room, and he's talking to his buddy about how he cheated to get his license, and then he leans over and looks at me and says, "Hey, I know a doctor who can hook you up." You know what I do? Because I have this, unusual thought process and how I interpret information. I just stood up and told him I didn't need any help. But it disgusts you. That's why, Governor Romer's having these issues. This isn't a grassroots movement, you guys. You're making fools of yourself. Now look at it, these dispensaries are being robbed. I mean, it's crazy, over my medicine. These guys are going in and taking my medicine. Yeah. I go into some dispensaries, and this is fascinating. They don't provide any service. They don't have a fake chair. They don't have a fake this. They're just selling pot. You ask the lady, well, what strain is this? She has no clue. Do you smoke? Are you a user? No. Oh, that begs a question. Do you even have a license to be in possession? So, again, it's out of control. I got this diagnosis in March of this year. I can no longer work. I'll be living off of Social Security disability. The state has allowed me to treat my disease, but I can't, fund my disease. I can't pay for it. Cannabis is very expensive. That's out of pocket. But if I decided I wanted to take Vicodin, which is very accessible for me because of my disease, I can get that just like that. My insurance covers it. So, it would only be fitting if the state allows me to treat my disease with this medication, then there should be an entity that also helps for those who need to treat their disease financially. I've been given birthday courtesies as a result of my professional caregiver. I'm offered samples. I have a place where